I tend to overreact sometimes to trends in politics. And I thought after the election, and frankly, even during the election, that the Democratic Party was in a world of hurt. And then after the election, people calmed me down, said it's not so bad. Remember what happened to the Democrats after, after Trump won in 16. Remember what happened to Republicans after Obama won, and then the rise of the Tea Party. Like, these things are cyclical. I now am of the belief that things are actually really dire for the Democrats. And I see that in just a lot of ways. But let me tell you one way it's manifesting that's making me really rethink the prospect of a legitimate comeback, which is they've lost access to so many things that prop them up as asymmetrical, massive advantages for years. Not lost them completely, but entertainment, news, the academy, social media, like all these things, Silicon Valley fundraising, all these things that were either massive or mega massive advantages are now not, and they're trending the wrong way. And Republicans are on the offense to neutralize those even more. So, Dan, am I right that it's more dire than the conventional wisdom? And there's a bunch of polling that shows the parties just their image is completely messed up. Am I right that it's more dire than the conventional wisdom, or am I back to overreacting?
I'm going to do a John McLaughlin. Wrong. I think you're overreacting, and I think there's two things. One, I don't know of a party in the minority where the other party has the trifecta that has been on offense or even competitive in the conversation for the first 3 to 6 months of a new administration, let alone the first 3 to 6 weeks. It just does not happen. You don't have the tools. You don't, the electorate just voted for the other side's agenda. They have a honeymoon. Like, I think the earliest a honeymoon is really blown up was probably Obama in April when cap and trade started going down. And it was the first sign of like the party was splintering a little bit. But I think everything you mentioned, Mark, some of those groups are members of the incumbent party. So if the Democrats start looking like they're making movement, they will start to hedge again. Silicon Valley, Wall Street, entertainment. The other part of it is we have not relied on those people per se. If you look at the $2 billion that Kamala raised, about 70% of it, 65 or so, was low dollar money. It's the base. That is the secret sauce to the party. It is where Republicans have tried to catch up with us. Trump has been very frustrated that the grassroots on their side have not matched it as much. The base is frustrated, but I don't think money would be a problem for us in the future. I think we have to get messengers and a message, but that is always the case when you lose everything.
I don't agree with that. I think you guys have been defanged. I've never in my lifetime seen an instance. Now, do I think that these tech guys, I think they're completely full of crap, and that the second that the power shifts back, they're going to apologize to your side and say, we only hung out with Trump because we had to. They're full of it. They're transactional. Fine. We'll take them while we can. We can, they can, but I've never seen an instance. I mean, think about this. It was noted last night. Think about on college campuses right now. Throughout Joe Biden's 4 years, people are going nuts on college campuses, and we don't have any of that. There's no passion. Your side doesn't have any sort of sense of fight in it right now, and that's the difference. Is that normally the party loses, and then there's this, either on our side it was Tea Party patriots, on your side Occupy Wall Street, that comes out and says we got to go out there and make the case. We got to fight. It's like everyone's walking around as Democrats. And as a Republican and a Trump supporter, people walk up to me and was like, hey, man, you guys won. We're just going to sit. I mean, like, there's no sense of like, we're going to fight.
I agree.
Back.
Totally
but
agree.
Hold on. There
totally
never
agree.
is 3 weeks into, well, one, the second thing is, look.
Dude,
there was 8 years ago.
Oh my God. The Washington Post talked about impeaching the guy. There were rallies in the street.
But if I look, though, at 17, and I look at the last 50 years, that was a one-off. Trump's win was so shocking. And, you had the Russia allegations. He lost the popular vote. Like, it was another loss of the popular vote after Al Gore. So I agree. It's not 17. But here's the other thing. Trump, and Steve said this last night, and I've said it as well, the rubber is going to meet the road on a whole bunch of this stuff. Right now,
100%.
He is the greatest TV producer, political TV producer ever. he is, action and attention and all of this. Prices are either going to start to come down or they're not. The economy is either going to start to get better or it's not. Immigration is either going to, meaning cleaning it up, so to speak, is either going to start to get better or it's not. And by the way, I go back to this, Sean, the White House has stopped putting numbers out. The White House has stopped on immigration. They have stopped putting the images out. Why? Because the amount of people they're getting in totality to the problem is a joke. It is. It's 0.001%. It's better than zero. But my point is, when you have a new administration, it is either just like Trump benefited, either Biden was going to bring prices down, have a better economy, or people are going to want to change. If this stuff doesn't start to improve, we will have an opportunity. I mean, that's just, and
that may be true.
Right.
Yeah, and you're right. If key things don't keep improving. But I was at a Maha event last night in Washington, D.C. to celebrate what we thought was going to be Bobby's confirmation. Most people in that room, and this was an event that people were paying to come to, were your people. They were donors that you probably hit up, and every one of them. And one guy I talked to had previously worked at the DNC. And I said to him, just out of curiosity, why are you here today? Is it just Bobby? And he said, no, I have 3 daughters. And he goes, and I sat there at one point and watched guys on the field, and someone pushed a young girl down on my daughter. And he goes, and I had enough. Your party has gone too far in a lot of issues.
Correct. So let me say 4 things that I think, Dan, run counter to your assumption that it will be not like 17, but be like the other times when a party's lost. First, I'll say I'd be super curious to know how Kamala Harris's fundraising appeals for the DNC are going. I'd like to know how much those are raising. Here are 4 differences. One is we've never had a president as aggressive as Trump. We never have. We've never seen the Democratic Party, at least, be this far to the left. So if you assume, as most people we know do, that there has to be some moderation to get more of the center back, they got a long way to go. 3 is the thing I said before, which is they've lost some fundamental strengths and asymmetrical advantages that they have had for years and years. And 4 is, again, you can tell me about Governor Beshear or Governor Moore, but in every previous cycle, I could tell you the names of people from the losing party who could run for president and would strike some fear in the hearts of the majority party. I cannot name a person like that today. Are they afraid of the governor of Illinois, or of Amy Klobuchar, or of Gavin Newsom, or of Wes Moore, or Governor Beshear? They are not. Maybe they should be, but they're not afraid of any Democrat right now. Not one. To the contrary, they're like, bring them on. We'll run against any of those people, regardless. So again, I don't want to overreact. I don't want to say the Democratic Party's dead. I'm just saying, as I survey the polling data, the fundraising data, and the daily news flow, and I look at the decline. I mean, they had all these corporations so woke that they were adjuncts of the Democratic Party. It's all flipped.